Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
And welcome back for this final segment this Sunday on Inside West Virginia Politics. We want to talk about technology and the state of West Virginia. Joining me right now is Barth. She's the Executive Director of TechConnect West Virginia. Good to see you again.
Good to be here, Mark.
A lot of exciting news to talk about. We got to talk a little bit about a downer to frame this discussion, because this past week, WalletHub.com, the financial advice website, came out with a report and said West Virginia is the third least innovative state in the nation. True or not true?
Well, let's talk about what's behind that ranking and what they measure, because I would argue that their data may be a little out of date, and maybe they don't know some of the recent developments that have happened in West Virginia that are going to move us up in those rankings. So what did they measure? They look at how much research spending goes on in the state, how much entrepreneurial activity there is, and venture capital. All of those items are going to be addressed by legislation just passed by this legislature, creating a matching fund for the Small Business Innovation Research Program. And for those who don't know, this is the federal government's research program. It is a $2 billion a year effort to stimulate research so that we remain the most competitive nation around the globe. And those matching funds are going to incentivize small businesses in West Virginia to get into that game more deeply, and that's going to result in more research funding, more entrepreneurial activity, and hopefully at the end of that, more venture capital investments in firms that are launching and creating jobs in West Virginia. And I would call this the most significant tech-based economic development legislation since Bucks for Brains was created back in 2008. I
like that name, Bucks for Brains. Well, let's talk about this a little bit, because when you do research, a lot of times it's based on older data. So they may have been looking at data from a year or 2 years ago. Well, fast forward to this year, the legislature passed, I believe, 3 major broadband expansion bills. We have Facebook announcing it's going to be a big internet pipeline across the state of West Virginia. There are other initiatives. The Community and Technical College Tuition Assistance, I think, is going to bring more people into the tech field. So talk about the developments and where they're going to take us in terms of our tech capability and our job situation.
Well, we're expanding broadband connectivity, definitely, and the Facebook announcement was great news to hear, in addition to the bills recently passed by our legislature. And we've had firms already decide just within the last 6 months to a year, a little over a year and a half, that they're going to come and locate in West Virginia. Resolver, N3 is here. We have N4, the new company, coming in June. Sparksoft, Leidos is opening and creating more jobs in Morgantown and Fairmont. So these companies, these big tech companies, have made the decision that West Virginia is a good place to do business. And I think we're going to see more of that. This all kind of got a start a couple years ago with Core 10 launching in Huntington, a fintech company that is growing and even working on developing their talent pipeline with New Source, the new coding program being taught through Mount West. You mentioned the free community college bill, which is terrific news. And all of this is going to help us build a talent pipeline for tech jobs and make us look more attractive to other tech companies, in addition to the ones that were already here. Let's not forget that. We had some tech companies to start with. These new ones are great additions.
And the other thing that's going on is a focus on STEM education. Now, Senator Capito introduced a federal funding bill in the U.S. Senate to provide more dollars for STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math, and particularly for young women. I was at an event at Bridge Valley this week, and these young kids, these middle school girls, are learning STEM and wanting to go into the tech workforce eventually.
And that is so exciting, and that's when we need to start reaching them, at least by middle school, that we can encourage them to consider careers in STEM, because we know these jobs pay better, they're more recession proof, and hey, girls like it. With the right encouragement, we'll get them into these programs. We'll see a greater workforce being developed right here in the state, so it's really an exciting time. And I think that's part of what these rankings don't get, what's happening on the ground right now. And they also don't take into account things like quality of life, congestion, affordable housing. We have plenty of those things here, in addition to ample outdoor recreational activities that are all things we know that millennials are looking for, and hopefully the Gen X right behind them.
All right, we want to mention that Northrop Grumman, the big defense contractor, is expanding. A lot of tech jobs there. Toyota is expanding tech jobs there. So things are really happening in the Mountain State. We want to thank Barth. She's the Executive Director of TechConnect West Virginia, for joining us and updating us. Come back in 6 months with another report card.
I'd love to, Mark. Mark. Thank
All
you.
right, Ann, thank you for being here on Inside West Virginia Politics. And just a reminder, we are a podcast every week. People, if they don't watch us on TV, can tune in their car or wherever you download your podcast. Listen to Inside West Virginia Politics on your podcast. We'll be back here next week. Thanks for watching, folks.